Hey guys, what's up? Day 12. Wow, wow, wow. Day 12 of the 14-day Congress at the Birb Nest. And we are so excited. We've seen all this engagement from you guys. It's lovely. Thank you so much for your support. And today, this is the first live stream of the day. We have 3 live streams in total. And we start very strong because we are going to talk about blockchain, right? And how blockchain changes lives and how we work and how we do business and how we order our food. And with me, I have my colleague at the Birb Nest and good friend of mine, Libs42. Hey, man.
What's up, guys? What's up? Yeah, 12th day, crazy. It's been such a journey. Been very, very fun, and I'm really looking forward to this live stream today. We're gonna look at how blockchain actually changes life real time on a real live product. So this is gonna be really exciting. You got crypto blockchain really impacting lives, in a very cool way.
For me, it's even. For me, it's even better because it's one of those live streams that I have. I co-host with Libs without technical analysis. So
Yeah, because you really do suck at that. I'm sorry, man, but you're not the best TA guy.
Okay, see you guys. Thanks, man.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's
move on after this clip. Okay, we are back.
All right.
I can't stop laughing with what you said. So at this point, I would like to introduce Bas Roos, good friend of mine, and he is the CEO of Bistroo. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Thanks. Happy to be here. Very good.
Happy to have you. We will start with the basics, right? Because we have a lot of new people. We had an AMA back in May. So let's talk about you first, right? Give us a background of yourself, how where you come from, and how you started with blockchain.
Yeah. So my name is Bas Roos. I'm a Dutch entrepreneur, 30 years old. Been working in the crypto and blockchain space since 2017. Been introduced to blockchain a couple years earlier, but before I got into blockchain, I was working at an IT risk and assurance company and data analytics. So my job was to analyze ERP systems handling billions of transactions annually, and check the application controls as well as the data integrity in order to assess whether the data was trustworthy within those systems. And there was always a big frustration for me when you transport data being incomplete or being invalid at some point, or the way we store data in these silos and transport it between them. And blockchain obviously has the premise to solve that frustration and to solve the issue of transporting data trustworthy. So that's basically my angle, how I got into blockchain, and got introduced to blockchain and crypto, around 2017, and became more and more active. First as a entrepreneur consultant, as like a standalone freelancer, and afterwards with the project Bistro.
And I think it's quite powerful what you mentioned, because you have many people in crypto started, let's say, the professional experience with crypto without having the corporate experience. And the fact that you have the ERP experience, you are data savvy, it's really powerful for Bistro. So how you came with the idea? Probably someday were you ordering your pizza and you said, okay, what's happening here? Where's my data? Why I have these charges? Let's change that.
Yeah, so obviously there's multiple angles, but like you said, my experience in digital process management led me to believe that it is actually possible to disrupt the current models within like food ordering. So if you look at how the way food consumption or food sales channels are organized, is there's always this big intermediary that basically dominates the entire procurement chain as well as the entire consumer relations. So they basically control and dictate everything regarding to user relationships, user data, user loyalty, user payments, obviously a big one. So those intermediary parties, be it a retailer or an online food ordering platform, they dictate and they dominate within their entire chain. That ends up basically mostly you as a lose model in the end. So the merchants are losing money because they're charging very high fees since they have this leverage to actually charge these fees. So they have this leverage to charge high fees, but since they keep like investing very aggressively on all types of things, they actually keep losing money at their business model as well. And there's more and more like doubt whether these platforms can actually operate at a profitable way in the future. So those are the two lose elements, and in the end, that means that the consumer will lose as well, because if you put all these things aside each other, then you could derive to the conclusion that in essence it's not sustainable. So our goal with this was to actually build a protocol economy as a peer-to-peer type of deal where the software is fully facilitating in everything that the platform in traditional setup does. And that's where the idea of the protocol-driven platform Bistro came from.
Got it. So why specifically the food industry? How you came with the idea specifically to this industry?
Yeah, since the intermediary dynamic I just described is very heavily present within food, so there was a lot of frustration already in the market addressing this. So that obviously provides opportunity for one.
Mm-hmm.
Other opportunity for one is that it's a high growth market. So there's a lot of new operators and a lot of new consumers entering the market on a yearly base, growing with double-digit cumulative growth rates across the board, basically in every country. So that provides a different angle of the opportunity. And yeah, like mentioned before, the frustration amongst, for example, restaurant owners in the Netherlands or in Europe in general is pretty high, which allowed us to pilot this protocol-driven Web 3.0 foundation from within food.
So, and just to mention this to the people that are watching this live stream, is that Bistroo is a working product. It's not something, on works and okay, let's test it. It's actually a working product in the Netherlands with quite success. How many food merchants you have right now?
Yeah, so we're going north of 300, and
Wow.
we got a good pace with new onboarders right now. So we aim to be not a small player anymore by the end of next year. Like you mentioned, we have an operational product, an operational platform. Our way of going at it was to build the product, the platform at as much as a decentralized way we could, from like features and user interface and user experience perspective. So validate the product first before we introduce our Web 3.0 things with the token and the cryptocurrency. It's basically a different way than usually people in crypto do, because they start off with like the concept and then start building the product afterwards or after releasing a token. But we wanted to have that validation on the product level first before we moved into the next stage of our developments.
The fundamentals first, right?
Fundamentals, but also validate like the market, right? Validate whether there's a need for this, validate whether if the product we designed is actually unique compared to like the platforms out there. And as soon as we got that validation and as soon as we got that first initial traction, we moved into the next phase of our master plan, so to say.
Okay, yeah, honestly, it's really refreshing to see a crypto company come in and actually start from the beginning where you should start. I mean, I've been in this business since 2017, and we've seen products come and go, and the ones who actually stay, long term, are the ones who focus on the actual product and create something, a foundation before they actually go live, and that. So yeah, it's really cool to see a product that are obviously serious with building something from the
Exactly.
start.
And in our case, having so much like real world application elements of the system, it's even more like desired to take that approach instead of the other way around.
Yeah, and you said you had obviously 300 merchants are a huge amount, right? And do you get the feeling that they feel like they're actually winning a lot by joining you guys? Because when you're having meetings with the merchants, I guess you're getting a sense of that they're thinking, they're actually going to make more money by joining you guys, right?
This
Exactly.
this was the question exactly that I wanted to ask, because I wanted to ask you, Bas, to speak about numbers, right? The big frustration with me is that I try to order something, and let's pick the name. Let's pick names, right? Let's call names. So Deliveroo or Uber Eats.
Yeah.
I go there. I have no control of my data, but let's leave that aside for now. And I see a service fee. Okay, the delivery fee. Okay, it's fine. A service fee which is through the roof, right?
Yeah.
And I know that these guys, because it's like a monopoly, they charge the food merchant a lot of money, commissions.
Exactly.
And I always, when I see because I order from restaurants which might be around the corner, right? I have ordered a takeaway from these guys, not just from Deliveroo, and I see that the items there. So there is a service delivery fee, and the items there are already more expensive than the actual store. And on top of that, they have commissions to merchant stores. Do you have an example? Like, can you say an
Sure.
example of how much food
Yeah.
merchants pay right now, and how much money they save through Bistro?
Yeah, so I'll provide, obviously, I'll give some like pillars of our design, which is basically designed to disrupt this monopoly type of model you just described. So I'll emphasize a little bit on that, and then I'll move over to Lips's question on like
Yeah.
the merchant validation, because that's more on like the phase after. So for example, if you look at those traditional models, they dictate, for example, with payments. So you have a consumer who orders food. They literally pay the platform, which has a bank license and all that kind of stuff, and they sit on that money for mostly weeks, and then afterwards they pay out their suppliers, which in this case are the merchants. In our case, it was very important to have a direct relationship between the merchants, so the seller and the one who is buying. So it should on all levels be as direct as possible in order to disrupt that intermediary model. So for example, in our case, there's always direct payments. There's a direct payments when fiat is used through payment service providers, but obviously when using crypto payments, there's also the peer-to-peer elements of crypto payments involved. We take a software protocol-driven approach, meaning that we don't have actually any operational logistics right now. So we don't perform our deliveries. The restaurant owners perform the deliveries themselves. In our perspective, that's the only way that the business of delivery can in the end become profitable. Because if you look at like companies like Deliveroo, Uber Eats, or Takeaway.com, they have tremendous amount of costs on actually performing delivery. And not being able to manage that on a profitable base. They run into regulatory issues on like being a freelancer as a delivery person or being actually employed. So there's a lot of things about this model that don't really make sense. So our objective is to build a protocol to give back the autonomy of the restaurant owner and enable them to perform their own delivery or enable them to organize takeaways. So in our case, it's a 5% commission fee. Since we focus on that platform software-driven approach, And in some cases, when they apply the technology for a web shop or a QR code ordering on site, we apply a subscription model. In the future, we would have additional revenue streams with, for example, advertisings or promotional offers. And that's also where the token in the end will fit in, like when we build the economy around data, Web 3.0 foundations. So, but we'll touch upon that later, I guess, or obviously. But 5% is our commission fee right now, compared to like 15 to 30 to even some cases 40% in the traditional market.
You're kidding.
Like, with the restaurant owner having like
Wow.
an average like profit margin of 10%, then we know what our ballpark is in order to have the restaurants also be happier and actually make money.
So they charge 15 to 30%.
Yeah, in some cases, yeah. And when the delivery is involved, it might even be higher. But obviously, that's where logistics, cost of logistics are.
And this is because there are few huge companies who basically control the market when it comes to that. Because otherwise, I wouldn't really see it possible to. I mean, 30-40%. That's insane.
Basically, it's viewed as like some sort of a necessary evil. They're holding a chokehold, right? So they're kind of dependent on the online ordering volumes.
Yeah.
But there's no real substitute for the actual going to market. And we really wanted to build that substitute as a protocol as a service solution. And then we can maybe move on to your question before, Libs. That gives a lot of autonomy back to the merchant, and our job is to actually provide the features, the support, the insights, and everything they need within the software to run their own business. And that USP, like that foundational difference in design, is being validated a lot right now in the market. Like we get a lot of compliments on how we structured the back office, how we structured the software, how immediate like everything is, how automated everything is that should be automated. So yeah, from that perspective, we're getting a lot of good feedback.
I think it's fantastic that what we're seeing right here is, obviously you have a financial revolution with blockchain, with Bitcoin, and then you're taking people who have like you said, had an interest for crypto and blockchain, and you're taking that financial revolution and then making some kind of revolution within an industry. And I think that is a really cool thing and a really beautiful thing to see blockchain actually change an industry like that in this transparent way. It's just a perfect example of how it should be done.
In our vision, we really appreciate that all the Web 3.0 like narrative is starting right now, right? So people can actually grasp the concept of like a community-driven protocol, or a protocol where the end users also generate value if they contribute to the protocol, right? If they add in content, or they add in new merchants or new friends or data for algorithms to analyze. So in the Web 3.0 vision, there's this mutual beneficial relationship between, in our case, the seller and the buyer. And that is definitely going to be enabled by our token and the blockchain protocols and the smart contract frameworks. And with the Web 3.0 narrative being more present right now, that's obviously really good for explaining our vision.
I don't know if that's possible for you. I would love to see like a walkthrough of the platform. I don't know if you have this handy and you can share the screen, but it's really lovely to see. You are talking about the vision and what Bistroo is doing right now, and I can see how it resonates with the titles that you have on your website. So it says here, the food ecosystem that makes everyone happier. And it's a no-brainer, right? You have the food merchant, and from 15% commission, he drops down to 5%. He has the power to communicate directly with the customer, and I guess you also provide the tools to implement a loyalty scheme for his customers directly, right?
Exactly.
Because I see, for example, yesterday I saw Uber Eats, they sent me a coupon code for 35% off, right? So if they have already 30%, 20%, let's say, commission to the food merchant plus the discount plus the delivery, it's I don't know if the food merchant makes money at all.
In the end, I don't think a lot of them do, and that's where you can question whether the traditional model is sustainable in the end. Obviously, it's heavily financed, and people at the platform level are just gonna be like the winner takes all, right? So they want to be the single entity that ends up in the end, and probably raise the commission fees even more to actually become a profitable business. So in the end, we'll have to ask ourselves the question if that's where we want to end up, or in our case, supply a substitute for that. And yeah, obviously, I have a demo store already. We have currently, since the platform had a launching market in the Netherlands, before expanding and creating the protocol or further developing the protocol in a way we can expand it like internationally. The platform itself is live in the Netherlands right now, and we're moving internationally next year.
Okay.
But we do have an international demo store, which will fit the question perfectly.
There
I
is
think.
there is a button on the bottom at the bottom that says
Yeah.
share screen. So
Okay, so
I-
I'll be sharing my screen right now, which is.
So you're saying you're going international next year. So there's actually a chance that I will be able to use your app and order food using your app in the near future.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So next year we'll be introducing the bistro.com level, or at least the concept of it, which is a next stage of development from the protocol we're building right now. And the bistro.com protocol should be more no-touch onboarding, just like a platform as a service should be, right? You can just access the utility, create your store, go live, connect with the desired payment methods, connect with your desired applications, and just run your business. And we're preparing for that element of scaling right now.
So self-sufficient people will food merchants will be able to go to the store and set up everything for themselves.
Exactly. So, but as like a non-touch onboarding flow, right? As you would
Yes.
open a Facebook account or whatever, but then you would use it to offer your food products. And same goes for the users, as well as the community reward schemes, or the reward systems we have designed. For example, the data reward systems, or invite your friend or onboard your favorite merchant. Like, since it's this community-driven platform, the platform and the protocol itself should be prepared for actually facilitating that, and that's what we're currently working on.
It seems like it's going to be a very, very busy year for you next year.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So you're saying that I can, like, if all right, so let's say you launch in my country in Sweden, right? Like, and I want my closest, like my go-to restaurant, I want those on your, like, how realistic is it that I will be able to influence them and you guys to actually be on your platform? Like, would they have to, like, they don't know anything about this, they don't know anything about blockchain. How easy would it be for them to actually open up a store here?
Yeah, so since like blockchain hasn't really gotten through to the consumer level of like retail users or consumer users, we have taken the approach that they can still operate the platform if they are not yet willing to accept crypto as payment. So you could just basically, in your back office, you can select your desired payment methods. And with the introduction of the crypto payment methods we've done in the last couple of weeks, we have existing merchants basically adding the crypto payments to their portfolio as well. So they basically have been using a traditional payment service provider, but since the introduction of the crypto payments within our platform, we have more and more merchants allowing consumers to actually pay with crypto in their store. And this is like the way we basically want to maybe gamify or at least promote the adoption of crypto from a retail level or a traditional consumer merchant level. And that will also be the case when we start onboarding. So onboarding should have the most fluent flow. So with low touch, no touch onboarding, they can just set up their own store and select whether they will accept crypto right from the start, or maybe even get incentivized to do so later down the road.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because I mean, obviously, great idea because most people have no idea what crypto is. So it's like, here you have this, and you're going to be paid in crypto. Like, well, what is this? So obviously that's great option to have.
Yeah, and also these are
yes.
design directions we chose to follow since we have this real world application, right? We will have to find a common ground in this system.
And it's like a transition. People need to have some education about the advantages of accepting crypto payments, right? Before we go, you cannot force the hand, and you cannot become mainstream if you go with something they haven't encountered before.
Exactly. So our mantra is basically we facilitate, not dictate. So we provide all the options for them to choose from, and we incentivize certain options down the road, or make it more attractive to actually adopt crypto. So yeah, that's why I referenced to it as basically as a gamified transition-like model.
And just to confirm, Bistroo is the first food delivery, the first company in the food delivery industry that accepts crypto payments, right?
The way we do right now, yes, like since we have multiple options and as well as our own token, there have obviously been cases where the famous 2 Bitcoins have been paid for like the pizza, right? So obviously there has been crypto payments in the food industry before. But the way we do it right now, especially in our market, is a first mover.
And you accept plenty of cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, multiple. Yeah, so I'll show you a little of the demo store. I think people have been looking at it.
Just before you start with the demo store, I totally forgot we have a very nice giveaway for the people that are watching, and the giveaway is 1 month access to our community. So it's the exclusive Nest Club, and I will display now the code. Give me 1 second. So this is the code. And you can find the giveaway in the description of YouTube. So it's 1 month exclusive access to our community. Guys, get it. You don't see this kind of giveaways often. So yeah, go ahead, Bas.
Cool. Thanks. So yeah, this will be excuse me. One of the stores of one of the restaurants that will be on our platform. This is a demo store, obviously. People orientate the store and all the products within it, but the cool thing is that this is real time managed and maintained by the restaurant owner. So they can do inventory management, they can do promotions, they could do discounts. So for example, in this case, there is an application of 2% discount if you decide to use the Beast token for payment, which is also live on the live product. And it's just a plain forward takeaway order where you fill your order, maybe do some upselling within the order, or provide some easy choices or necessary choices, like for modification of the order or product. And if you go to the checkout, it's basically as you know, but in this case, this merchant has allowed crypto payments to be performed and has allowed these tokens to be used for payment.
Wow, you accept so many. Wow.
Yeah, and we're introducing more and more as we go along. So, for example, if we choose our own token, the BIST token, and we go to the checkout, then I'll have to you'll end up in the payment screen for the crypto payments, as you're mostly used for from a crypto payments service perspective.
Do you also have a MetaMask integration, or can I connect my wallet to the app?
Not yet. This is one of the things we have scheduled for the bistro.com concept.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
which
awesome.
which will then be like directly interacting with your non-custodial wallet within the platform. So
Okay.
just an easy flow. If you look at it from a merchant side of things, like if we have the product live in like our country, you can also look at it like from a marketplace perspective. So in some cases, the merchant uses our technology as a web shop replacement. So they feel the back office is such an intuitive way for them to manage their offerings. They stop using a web shop module, and they basically manage the web shop within the back office of Bistro. So they use the same store, but for two channels. So one being our marketplace channel, which is like an open orientating consumer channel, but they use it also as a direct ordering channel, as a web shop replacement. So yeah, if you have one store or one technology or one merchant interface, you can use it to manage multiple channels.
Oh, awesome. And tell me something. Right now, you have food merchants, restaurants, takeaways, etc. Is the plan to also add, like in Uber Eats, I can buy groceries or I can buy bread?
Yeah, basically that's already the case. So we have restaurants as well as shops, as we call them, which are markets, basically.
Yep.
So markets for bread, market for fish, meat, vegetables, bread, like you mentioned, but also like walnuts and all that kind of stuff, right? So in our case, in the Netherlands, we have numerous of offerings in that area, and working together with logistical service providers, we can deliver those in the entirety of the Netherlands. Because like if you have a meal obviously needs to be hot or fresh when you receive it.
Yes.
So that's very regional. But products like meat can just be cooled and then be transported across the country. So we have both of those present on our platform, but like 75% is restaurants at this point, but 25% is markets.
But 25%, that's still a big part. I mean that's still and I definitely see a future in that.
It's still a developing market, obviously, but we focus on like specialty and authentic goods, right? Or like from right from the source, basically. That's the goal, right? It has to be as fresh and as authentic as possible. And you see more and more operators entering this market, and you see more and more demand happening, but it's not as well developed as meal ordering is right now. Obviously, that market has settled in for more than a decade.
So you're obviously well established in the Netherlands. Is there any other country where you have started expanding to?
No, not yet. The next country will be Belgium, though, since it's like a neighboring country, and like the things we validated in the Netherlands also work there. And then if we introduce bistro.com, then it will be a borderless utility.
Yes, I'm thinking the fact that you are already established in the Netherlands and it's obviously working, and the fact that you already have 300 merchants shows that it's a useful product. I mean, that must make it not easy. Obviously, it's nothing like this is easy, but it's probably going to be easier to launch in a new country than it was launching in the Netherlands from the start, right? Because you can say, look at this, it's working working here. There's no reason for it not to work in this country, and I really think that is the case, right?
Yeah, we've learned a lot from like the last 2 years. We launched at March 3rd, 2020, and then like 2 weeks after we went into our first COVID lockdown. So the thing is, like the market circumstances have been very violently changing, like on a week basis. So that obviously is something that we're considering right now when deciding when it's good to launch the secondary market, because those things do tie into your operational capabilities, basically, to sort of say. So, like you mentioned, on the product level, we've learned a lot, but it's definitely going to be a challenging thing, like expanding and scaling. But the biggest thing we're focusing on right now is prepare the technology for that, and then hopefully, under normalized market circumstances, we can quickly act on those ambitions.
Okay, and I remember I read an article because I want to also touch a bit on the beast, because beast is already unleashed.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
say, and
indeed.
I would like to talk about the utilities. Before that, I remember reading an article that was saying in the Netherlands, you are recognized by a food organization that other competitors like Deliveroo are not. Can
Yeah, it's
you?
basically a organization, basically the Dutch National Association of Restaurant Owners. That's the free
Oh,
translation of it.
okay.
So basically, 2/3 of the restaurants in the Netherlands are part of that association, and they have been giving us the credibility stamp. So that's a good label, a good certificate for us to have going further down the market.
Okay, that makes sense, and it's a great recognition actually. So actually, let's not go to Beast because I see this. I have this in the screen, but I'm a customer of Bistro, right? I use Bistro to order my food. How my data is safe compared to
Yes.
other solutions out there? Because I don't get me wrong, I know that my data is not safe with
Yeah.
the current solutions. So how Bistro makes sure that protects my data as a customer?
So yeah, in the future, we are very much looking into like personal data systems where we can just ping the relevant information for the order to happen. Obviously, since there's also still a lot of traditional consumers in our market, we do process data in a similar way, but still regarding the GDPR guidelines, right? So it's always saved properly. It's always stored as safely as possible, and the right to be forgotten applies to anyone who submits a request. In the future, we would like to have this decentralized as well, so where we can have like personal data systems for us to ping the information from in order to provide the merchant with like the information he needs to actually fulfill the order.
Makes sense. Okay. Thank you for that. So let's go. Let's discuss about Beast because I see so many utilities here. So you have the cashback discount that we saw in the demo, and 1% cashback in Beast if people pay by crypto.
Yeah, so like
Um,
the biggest utility for the token is actually the Web 3.0 economy, right?
yeah,
Where we want to be a community driven platform with community contributions on levels like development, marketing, sales, but also on aspects like sharing your data with us, like allowing us to analyze your data in order to optimize the merchant's performance does in the future need additional incentives, right? The data is going to be the new oil, so to say, and we believe that if you contribute to the platform, you should be able to get something out of it and have this mutual beneficial relationship within this ecosystem between the sellers and the buyers. So that's where the token comes in with most of its core use cases as a reward token.
yes, yes, plenty of and once you get into a position where you can educate food merchants efficiently, I don't see any reason why not. They start accepting crypto payments.
Yeah, but there's also already been a high interest for merchants to actually accept cryptos. So I think a lot of the merchants are willing to do so, but the thing that is prohibiting like mass adoption might just be regulation, right? everyone is triggered, and everybody is like interested in like this new financial system we're all building, but they don't know the parameters of regulation, so that's holding them back. So after we introduce these crypto payments, we are getting more and more responses from our merchants that they are actually willing to accept crypto as a means of payment. So that's definitely a good thing. And obviously there might also be some incentives for them in the future to accept crypto. For example, if they want to set out an advertorial or an advertisement within the platform or a promotion, we could make that more efficient or more appealing when done with crypto. So actually, how do you say it? Accessing premium like features and premium like advertising systems might just be more beneficial when doing with crypto, being the incentive for them to adopt it.
Yes, that is a good point. Sorry, I was checking. We have a question from one of our guys watching. So, any plans on developing? I think you touched that right a bit. Any plans on developing a decentralized delivery system? I think it's a critical point in order to compete with the other companies.
Yes, from a protocol perspective, we do think this is part of our like long-term roadmap. But from operational perspective, so actually fulfilling the logistics with like resources like employees or maybe freelancers, in our opinion, this cannot be done in a profitable way with the resources capabilities we have right now. So from a protocol management level, we're definitely thinking about it. But there has to be a lot of innovations in logistics to actually make delivery become more cheap and therefore be a feasible model.
Got it. Okay, and remind me, Beast token, which chain are you using? Which protocol?
We're main token on ERC20, and we have a bridge to BEP20.
Awesome. And can I ask? Sorry, because I saw on your Twitter there is this teasing about staking. How much you can reveal for the first time?
For now, we're building an updated staking portal for the token. So keep an eye on the channels. Like it's gonna happen in the next few weeks. But we're building an updated staking portal with more staking opportunities or possibilities. Currently, we already have Uniswap liquidity staking, but there's going to be a couple more.
So you're not revealing much. It's okay.
Yeah,
for those of you watching, if you're looking at this, like you're thinking, well, Bistro looks like it looks like a company that is going to expand and grow, and now is obviously a great time to look at the token. And when you look at staking, obviously, if you want to be a long-term investor in something like this, staking is a wonderful tool to really make the most out of your investments. And from my perspective as a trader and investor, having your tokens staked in the protocol is obviously a way to maximize your involvement, so to say.
Are we hiring? I see.
we have Marian here.
Yeah, we are.
Are they hiring?
Yeah, we are. Like, if you have any interest or like any way you would like to contribute, just reach out to us, be it through Telegram or maybe through email or something. We're interested in like a lot of these competencies. But we're definitely hiring. Yeah. So we're in the process of expanding the team.
It's beautiful, actually. It's beautiful because you can see with blockchain how this technology actually connects people, right? And you see that, okay, there is the element, you are a business, right? Profit is the outcome at the end of the day. But this project actually brings profit for everyone. It gives the power back to people.
the way, yeah, exactly. That's the final thing. Obviously, that's where the decentralization comes in, right? It's giving that autonomy back to all the stakeholders and organizing that through the blockchain technology is a new way of organizing business processes or business relations. And we as a society are just used to organize everything we can in a most centralized manner. But
Yeah.
there's definitely a benefit in decentralizing critical parts of ecosystems.
If you want, how can we say it? How we can articulate it? If you want to have the power, you need to have the knowledge and how to manage this, right? If you want other people to do the work for you, that's when we talk about centralized
Yeah,
centralization,
but I
right? You
also
have the
mean
banks, you have monopolies,
exactly the
but
dependency, right? It's you're
exactly,
really dependent of this one spoke in an entire wheel. But that's also a single point of failure in some cases, or basically in all cases. So if you're dependent on a single entity or an intermediary, if that is not operating in your benefit, but you're still dependent on it, you are caught in a chokehold.
yeah, you cannot
Uh,
ask for freedom and be dependent
exactly.
on
So yeah, that's the foundations we will be keep building on to actually disrupt that model.
that's a nice vision. I like it. Tell me about Core V4. What is it? Because I saw a lot of updates. Core
Yeah,
V4
that's the latest update
releasing.
we did to the platform, which had a lot of these things that I mentioned earlier as a preparation for preparing the technology to scale internationally. We have basically did a big refactor of the entire stack and everything we've learned in this time in order to prepare the protocol to scale more easy as a technology.
Mhm.
So Core V4 was a big refactor update from us on that side.
Okay.
The thing we still have left in the tank to actually wrap the V4 project is the merchant dashboard update. So the back office
Yeah.
of the merchants is going to be reworked by the end of the year. And if that rework is done, then we can start moving towards the next phase going into next year.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Um, Before we wrap up, do you have any questions, Lips?
Well, no, I have a feeling that I'm gonna like we mostly have pizza where we're in my town, so I have a feeling that it might like I do feel like it would be a wonderful thing for you guys to come to Sweden and but for me personally, I'm just gonna get fat. That's my worries because I'm gonna be using your products way too much probably. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing the yeah, I'm really liking these interviews with products where you're actually changing, because this is the reason why I went into crypto. Like this is the reason why I got interested in Bitcoin, and now we really see like the reason why I went into Bitcoin was to give power back to the people financially. You know what I mean? And now we're actually seeing this. It's happening. This is what we've all talked about. So it's actually happening. This is a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing.
Indeed, it is. Okay, so what is the roadmap? What should we expect from Bistro to see in the next weeks, and months? I mean, you can cover as much as you want. Ideally, I would like to hear about next year as well, full next year.
Yeah, the full next year, obviously, as our website states, like is going to be all about scaling, where we introduce like the advertisement systems for the merchants, so a way for them to actually reach reach more of the new targeted consumers. The biggest thing, like I mentioned a couple times, but obviously that's our like flagship thing is bistro.com as a borderless protocol as a service utility. We are looking into personalizing your user experience. So the way the platform shows you content or shows you offerings should be customized to your own profile. So having a personalized experience when looking for new concepts or new meals. Um, and we've also been getting questions a lot about the B2B application of this protocol. So a restaurant owner basically procuring ingredients through this protocol. So we're
Okay.
still that's gonna be a next step in like the markets we serve, right? Currently it's business to consumer, and we're gonna focus solely on that for now. And going into next year, bistro.com is gonna be a consumer focused platform. But we have been getting a lot of feedback and requests on using the platform as a B2B platform as well. So yeah, that you might run into stuff like that somewhere down the line next year.
That's a nice dimension in the business, definitely. Okay, let's say we have 1 minute, 2 minutes before we close this live stream. In these 2 minutes, can you let's say pitch what Bistro is and how you change lives for the better? Because it's lives we're talking about. It's the wealth of those lives, food merchants and customers.
Of course, obviously it sounds a little bit weird to pitch after we.
It's not pitching. It's not like it's
for an
just to
hour,
summarize what Bistro does.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So the summary is that we're building a protocol as a service, peer-to-peer marketplace to disrupt the intermediary heavy food ordering market and food consumption market. And we've launched a platform, validated the product last year, and we're making preparations to scale the platform and the protocol internationally, and have it be a community-driven platform on areas like growth, on areas like user contributions, marketing, sales, development. So yeah, really building an ecosystem that creates a mutual beneficial relationship between all the stakeholders involved.
Awesome. Bas, it was an absolute pleasure having you
Likewise.
this live stream. Thank you so much for making the time to be part of
Very
this
happy to be here.
of this congress. I mean, we will see each other again very soon.
Yeah, hope so. Hope so.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sure.
All the best to Bistro. Forget Sweden. Just come to the UK first, and then maybe Sweden, because we have to protect Lips here. We don't want to get him fat, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you might want to wait a couple of months into the next year for that. I mean, the UK is probably a better market anyway.
there you go.
Okay.
Easy decision.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for having me. And yeah, looking forward to meeting any of you soon again. And for everyone having follow-up questions, feel free to join our community.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And guys, stay tuned. We have more live streams. We have 2 more live streams, an amazing discussion panel. Stay tuned at the Birb Nest. And let's tease, we are going to have a major surprise for you probably today or tomorrow. So till then, stay tuned. Bas, thank you again. And Libs for co-hosting this live stream. And see you soon, guys. Take care.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.